So, in case you haven't seen my community posts, I did say before that this, along with some others, will be the last take-ons I'll be doing though. Look, I hate doing this to my audience, especially because I'm sure there are some people out there who actually have those requests, but honestly, I don't really want to get into too much on what that is though. Honestly, the only reason why I'm taking a longer break from these take-ons after I'm done with the remaining ones I have really has to do with me personally. See, in case you guys don't know, I go through a lot of anxiety sometimes. And honestly, when it comes right down to it, I have no other choice but to stop these and take ons anyway. Especially since the internet does love to shit on people who want to stop people from getting people caught into bad people's webs. But honestly, this is what happens when you're on the internet. There are tons of people out there who will do that in some forth, but honestly, that's beside the point. So, without further ado, it's time to take a look at another take on. But let's talk about opinions for a sec. When it comes to the internet, I hear a lot of people have different ways of showing their opinion. There are people who will respect your opinion, and honestly, when it comes right down to it, that can be pretty much of what it is though. Unfortunately though, while I can't say that their opinions are anything but base for some people, it can also be pretty clear that anything that comes from opinions can be marked down as something else. Anyone who's seen these here kind of people already know that they're kind of people who will take you with them if they want to say that they know where they're coming from. But they usually try to elaborate on what these opinions do. Like, for example, if you want to talk about something that no one's ever talked about, and especially when you have an unpopular opinion, sometimes even that can be more than what makes him more than what could have been, though. But you know how sometimes when you have an opinion and something like that happens, though, by doing this, though, it makes it come to realization that it's really no surprise that opinions do happen to have those kind of people where they talk down to you, which is honestly something that I can't stress enough, though. Now, in some ways, I kind of get it, though. You know, like sometimes if you're anyone like me who has actually been on the internet since whenever you had the chance, I think it's really something that I think we can all agree on one thing though. We shouldn't really talk down to our audience, because that's not how you really get your audience to come to you directly though. But you know how you don't also do that? By saying to them that they're facts or whatever. Or unless it is a fact or something that's factual checked, you can bet that there are some people out there who will give that opinion out and also say that's a fact besides all that though. And of course, today is one of those people, Youngdefiant. When it comes to having internet somebodies on the internet, Youngdefiant is one that I don't hear a lot of people necessarily talk about all the times though. This wouldn't be much of a problem if it weren't for the fact that I've actually wanted to do Youngdefiant. This wasn't a request, but it was one that I actually wanted to do for myself. So, without further ado, let's talk about Youngdefiant and see where he takes us from here. Now, I'm gonna have to go a little more stalling when we're doing this, though. So, in case you guys don't know who Youngdefiant is, we're gonna have to go through a little bit of history. Not with the guy personally, but with the take on that we're gonna do with my history with it. Stalling? Maybe, but this is relevant for what you're about to see for yourself, though. See, I don't know about you guys, but honestly, the way I was introduced to Youngdefiant was for one thing first, though. I did not know what to think about Youngdefiant at first glance, but at first glance, the first time I was introduced to him has to be from One Piece. But before we dive into the One Piece thing, though, we need to talk about the stamina before we anything do something ready, though. So in case you guys don't know, I go through fixations. I go through fixations more faster than you could say, though. Except this was around November, December of 2020. Back in November or December of 2020, I had a fixation about One Piece. After years of not watching it, because honestly, the first time I ever watched it would have to be the 4Kids dub. Yeah, I was one of the more unfortunate people who saw this. Well, I say that, but really I didn't see it in its entirety when it was on 4Kids. See, during this time, it was around Easter time, and at this point though, in 2007, this was during the time when 4Kids was going to be defunct a long time already though. I didn't see a lot of other shows at the time, unless you count something like Yu-Gi-Oh and the like, but I figured I might as well put that out there while I still can. I probably will do an anime history video, but that's not what this video is about, though. However, while I was trying to watch One Piece after years of it to come, I decided to take a watch on that, though, and it was gold. Like, I could not exaggerate how much I really started watching this series a lot further than I thought it would have, though. This could be the fact that I was actually trying to find my niche, my comforting, because there was something that actually happened during the time. And bear with what I'm gonna say to you, because honestly, this is not gonna be pretty what I'm gonna say. See, around this time era, I was only trying to find a way to cope with myself. I can't exactly remember if it was after Thanksgiving or before Christmas, but what I do know is that when I was having One Piece be my niche, something happened to me. And by that, I mean that I had to go through, well, something that happened in my family. No one died or anything like that. That's not what happened, but something that happened to me personally. It was the time when I was getting groomed at the time. Now, I will say that, yeah, this is definitely a case where it was actually in person, though. I was sexually assaulted that time, and what's more, I wanted to focus whatever I could out of myself, though. And believe it or not, during this time around 2020, I was around November, December of 2020, I was only 21 years old. So naturally, I didn't really have that much going for me except for a job, and as well as taking a day off here and there, though. But honestly, when it comes right down to it, though, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I was in some kind of community at the time, some people said if you ever have a problem with something, you could always go to talk to them. This was during the time when I had a Amino app, where I actually was part of a lot of fan bases during the time. I wasn't, I guess you could say I wasn't that toxic with them, but there was one thing I wanted to ask them, though, if they could help me with my situation. Unfortunately, like I kill a lot of other people on a lot of fan bases, this did not help. Now, I will say this is probably my doing, because I did ask someone if they could help me, which I did make very few friends there, and I did make a pen pal friend over the course of time. But this was during the time when, despite my fixation during that, though, I will say when it comes to my assault that time, like sexually assault, yeah, this is during the time when a lot of people didn't want to help me. They said to me to fuck off, they said to me they don't care, and honestly the One Piece community was pretty toxic when I was there. Then again, when I was on the Amino app, I was only there because I followed someone else there, but honestly, if it wasn't for the Amino app, I wouldn't get to meet my pen pal, so there you have it, I guess. But honestly, when it comes to having One Piece, I know what you're all thinking. What the fuck does this have to do with anything of Youngdefiant? So, let's get on to something right here. So, Youngdefiant, in case you guys don't know, or in this case, you may be familiar with the phrase, the king of YouTube, the king of manga, the king of anime, the king of video games, and saying that he's practically better than anyone else in the entire span. Yeah, that's Youngdefiant. But somehow his video on One Piece was recommended to me, mostly because there were some rants on One Piece. Now, I can already hear some of you guys saying that rants are pointless, but personally, I think there are ways you can make the rants worth it if you want to watch it for yourself. The first is that you want to get the person to know where you're coming from. At this rate, you want people to understand that you're not just doing a rant because why not? No, in this case, it has something to do with, well, valid points. And when it comes right down to it, I've seen plenty of rants where they will do valid points here and there, but there's not a lot of them. Most of the time on YouTube, they'll always put on those kind of rants where they'll just say whatever they don't like about it and not elaborate on it, though. This is where Youngdefiant's video of One Piece really came to my page. I don't know why his page was recommended to me, but I guess that's the internet in a nutshell. But okay, you might be thinking, maybe he put some valid points in there. Maybe he thought of something else, though. Well, not necessarily. See, in case you guys don't know, the guy is opinionated. Like, over the top opinionated. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not opinionated. He just spills out facts. Yeah, this is one aspect I could not stand when it comes to the internet, though. When they say that it's a fact and you're automatically supposed to assume that it's supposed to be fact, when he doesn't even tell any facts about it. I will say that he does have some points, like saying that One Piece is really a long driven story, and what's more, it can be drawn out at times though, but he doesn't really explain why he doesn't like it. Like, if you don't like One Piece, there are plenty of reasons why you don't like it. Say you can't get into the story, or say that you're not interested into them finding the One Piece or anything like that. Or hell, you can just bring out some other points to go back to your criticism. But Youngdefiant doesn't really criticize anything he does here, folks. He'll just put a picture on screen to the point where it has a big giant red text on screen and says it's trash or garbage or whatever. And he doesn't do this to just One Piece. He does this to practically anything about the anime community. Now, I will remind you, he doesn't do this to Hojo or Josie I related stuff. He mostly does this on shonen and seinen anime. And to be completely honest, this is one aspect I could never stand from people saying to me that, oh, if he doesn't like it, you should leave him alone. I will leave him alone, but if only if there's one thing he could do. Elaborate why he doesn't like it, though. Yeah, as you can no doubt can tell, though, he doesn't really elaborate what he says, though. That'll be like me saying I don't like Star Wars, and I'm just gonna say I don't like it, and that's it. You can't honestly say you don't like something if you don't elaborate it any further. And what's more, your audience are just gonna ask you, if they are gonna ask you, that is, saying why you don't like anything about it, though. And it really bothers the hell out of me, because most of the time he just does that. Now, I can already hear some of my audience crying out loud that he probably did that in just one video, but I'm not saying he did this in one video. He did this in practically a lot of his videos. By the way, if you're gonna ask about his videos, I'm just gonna say this right here and now. Once you watch one video, you've watched a dozen or more of them, because honestly, that's what his videos are like a lot of the times. Most of the time, he'll just go on saying things like, it's a fact, or it's trash, or if you like something, you're an idiot. And he doesn't just say this to his audience, he also says this in his own titles of his own videos. Now, I can already hear some people laughing at that, which I guess you can find funny, but I personally find that more of an excuse of why you have to bully your audience. And may I ask, how are you going to get your audience to like you after that? Like, seriously, every time a lot of people say to me it's supposed to be a joke, I'm not buying it anyways, though. Call me a person who takes things literally, which is true even in real life for myself, but I highly doubt anyone's gonna look at you in a straight face thinking, hey, if I don't like it, then therefore, I'm an idiot. But you do realize there's a thing called, well, to respecting others' opinions, right? Okay, I shouldn't really say that, considering that it's not just Youngdefiant. A lot of these people are like that on the internet. You can be opinionated and say these valid points all you want and maybe get your point across, but if you don't elaborate any further, then chances are no one's gonna take your word seriously. And let me remind you, he does this a lot. Not just on anime, but he does this onto video games as well. Like, for some reason, he'll just say he doesn't like it and then not elaborate any further and say, or in this case, not prove any evidence, though. Look, I wish I could prove evidence, because this software I have for my laptop is really a pain in the ass when you get right down to it. But honestly, the only reason why I'm trying to elaborate what I'm trying to do is because, let's be honest, I usually do show a picture on my own podcast or anything I do. And I'll even show some kind of evidence every now and then when it comes to my podcast shows everything, though. Like my Magical Girl podcast, my writing podcast. But honestly, when it comes to Youngdefiant, he doesn't really do anything to elaborate. He'll just say one thing and not explain anything on the next, though. There's a reason why they say if you don't prove your point, then no one's gonna take it anyways, though. They need backup claims. They need something to understand where you're coming from, because otherwise, it's not gonna be anything like that, though. I'm all for having people who don't like something that they don't like, but this also raises another question. Why doesn't he like it and all of a sudden he just talks down to his audience and say that you're an idiot for liking something like that? Is it really hard to explain why they shouldn't like it? Because if you don't like it and someone else doesn't like it, not everyone's going to agree with you. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if you put a poll up and say of what you think about it and then just put down the correct answer anyways, though. In your correct answer terms, not necessarily anyone else's. Before you get any comparison make, though, let me remind you, the first time I saw Youngdefiant's channel, he had over 20k subs at the point. And by the time I'm making this video, he has, get this, over 38k subs by the time when I'm making this video. And I'm not saying this as in he has to show it off or anything, but I can't really say when he's going to do another video, because the last time he did another video was 4 weeks ago. Yeah, almost a month ago. I'm guessing he's semi-active, or maybe he's just playing around thinking that people are going to donate to him. And let's talk about donations for a sec. Now, I obviously don't know what you like to donate to other people, because I don't know how you can donate to people that you can support their channel any further or anything along those lines. Though the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because most of the time when it comes right down to it, he goes so far as to say if you don't donate, you don't matter. Why does that sound like you're trying to make them donate? In fact, not everyone's going to donate to you. Ever consider the fact that maybe there's no reason and for you to act like they don't matter for something like that? Maybe it's the fact they just don't know how to donate to you, or maybe they just can't afford anything like that. I'm just saying there's a reason why a lot of people have their reasons for why they can't do it, though. And let me tell you right now, he does this a lot, even on his live streams, which I can't show you, not just because I can't do anything with my laptop jacking up, but also due to the fact that he used to do a lot of these live streams. He doesn't do them anymore, I guess you could say, but honestly I can't tell if he does or not, because the last time I checked when doing this video, he hasn't made a live stream ever since then. Most of what you're gonna get is his homepage, his videos, and that's it. And he used to have something on his about page, though admittedly I don't know what happened to it though. I don't know if he erased it entirely or he just had something happen to his channel. I wouldn't know, so who's to say? What I will say though, however, is that it's really a pain in the ass when you realize that people are doing everything they can to support your channel, and then all of a sudden you talk down to it though. Like, I have to say this right here and now. I never cared for this aspect. Talking down to your audience is one thing, but there's another thing he has. Narcissism. Narcissism, it's not really just anything like you could say you could diagnose with someone. I mean, I can't diagnose him for sure because I don't know him well enough to have that, but for his narcissistic behavior, it's really over the top. Like, he'll say he's better than anyone in his audience or anyone outside of the audience, or hell, anything like this though. I wonder if he's like this towards a lot of the people who just never knew he would do this though. Now, I realize that the internet has ways of showing what people are like inside the internet and outside the internet. Inside the internet, you can pretty much bet that it really depends on if you want to keep the tamed level to your personality, while others, myself included, could say that outside of the internet there are times where we'll have other things to do, like go to a job, or some people that start the internet at a young age will go to school, or anything else along the way though. Not everyone is going to be on the internet 24/7, unless you can't watch Mojo. But the thing is though, I have nothing to say about what happens when it comes right down to it. I mean, I'm sure that there are some channels out there who will make as much money as they can though. But if you want people to support your channel, then fine. But just don't expect to talk down to your audience as much as they can though. This is one aspect I could never stand when people do their audience. Talk down to them like they're children. And when it comes right down to it though, I hate it when people talk down to children as well. I mean, let's be honest. This is something I could never get into people's heads though. Like, I'm really starting to think to myself though, the reason why I do these videos is not because of money, because again, I don't plan on making money on YouTube, but I'm mostly doing it because it's a hobby of mine. Plus, I've always wanted to talk about stuff that I want to enjoy and other stuff anyways though. The take-ons, yeah, if you've seen my community post, you already know what I said on there, so I'm not going to repeat it though. But what I am saying is that if you're anyone like me who likes to do videos as a hobby, that's not a bad thing. Everyone has different hobbies. Hell, aside from doing videos, which I don't do a lot because of my stress and everything, and what's more, I have a busy life, I will say there are some other things I do part of my time though. I'll do videos one time, I'll either do my writings, I'll probably try to see what I can do with my hobbies to improve on them, and so on and so forth. Hell, while I do still have my job that's part-time, not full-time like I did before when I started discovering Youngdefiant, but even with that said, that doesn't mean I can't respect people what they do outside the internet. And I'm not your narrator of Youngdefiant. I highly doubt you're gonna watch my video anyway. And for that reason, Minions, I highly doubt you would know I exist anyways, though, because let's be honest, if you do manage to see this video, you're gonna just say, oh, you're just talking out of your ass or something. And before you say it, I get some people are gonna think that I'm only doing this because I have nothing else to do. Now, I would have done this video yesterday, but due to my laptop being a jackass like it could have been, no, I had to do this video today, though. I had to do it because over the weekend there is something coming up in myself personally, but I have to be honest, though. I wanted to get this video out there. I haven't done any videos of November lately, though, but even with that said, I don't have too much to say about Youngdefiant as a whole, though. In a nutshell, Youngdefiant is the king of being a clown. Let's put it that way. He's just going to talk down to his audience. He's not going to respect anyone's beliefs or opinions or anything like that. And that's all to it, though. And look, I'm not saying that he's the only person who does this. There are far more people out there who've done this. Anyone who's seen my take on list already knows that there are so many people out there who can be like that. But hey, unlike Star Giant Productions, at least we know he's not dangerously stupid. I don't think he's done any crimes. He's more of a internet lolcow that just wants to attract attention. But honestly, that's really what he's like in a lot of ways. And sadly, I think we're about done here, though. There's not much I could say because there are far better videos out there who can elaborate Youngdefiant a lot more than I can. But honestly, I wanted to do this video because I was bored and I wanted to get a video out there for you guys to at least try and watch for yourself, though. I know that this won't be the last video I'll do, though. After this one, I'll have 6 left of these here take-ons, though. Yeah, I really do apologize in advance if there's not a lot I can say on these here videos for the take-ons, but that's why I really created a community post anyways, though, because I know for a fact that some people will actually do something about when it comes right down to it. So, but honestly, I can't really say that would have been like that, though. What I'm trying to say here is that if you can get enjoyment out of a lolcow, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But I'm just not the kind of person who would to actually enjoy these kind of people. I mean, Youngdefiant, if he's ever going to do another video, he's not going to listen to criticism. He never does. He never will. He never even bothers seeking out for the video itself, though. And before you say anything, I know that he has little improvement, though. And hell, I try my best to improve on my videos, that's for damn sure. But what I'm trying to say is that he's just one of those internet people that just wants to spread as much facts, quote unquote, to do whatever he can, though. And with that said, however, after this take on, there will be 6 left to do, though. The next take on we'll be doing, I hope to God I have to say whatever I can out of it, because the next one is going to be fetishy. And it's probably a lot dirtier than what Radon XD was. But until then, I'll thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay Flamingo-tastic. See ya.